Yo, what's up? We're going to be doing the breakdown here for the first week of the Dana White Contender Series, Week 3. And I must say, though, before we start, that I'm really not very impressed with this Week 1 skill level here. I mean, there's one fight here that I think the guys are potentially UFC level. But other than that, I mean, a lot of pretty weak competition here. But Alton, Meeks, and Yorgon to Castro is the first fight. It's a heavyweight fight. Meeks is going to be significantly larger than De Castro. De Castro is a very small heavyweight. He was 224 pounds in his last fight. But he's light on his feet. He's pretty fast, I would say. He has a really good overhand right left hook combo. And he closes distance fairly quickly. He will throw some leg kicks. He has a decent overhand right left straight combination. He will try to use combos to push opponents back against the cage. And he's overall, though, very sloppy. He gets fixated on shots, like he'll spam leg kicks without setting them up, throw the overhand right over and over. He gets tired very quickly. He doesn't move his head, and his body is also very easy to hit. He does hit pretty hard, but I wouldn't say he has crazy power. He does have 3 knockouts in his 4 pro wins and went to decision for the first time in his last fight. He's never been finished with strikes as a pro, but he did get finished once as an amateur in 2016 with strikes, and his wrestling looks mediocre at best. I saw him taken down in one fight. He showed a little bit off his back, but he was finished quickly, and I wasn't able to find his most recent fight where he went to decision, but overall I'm just not very impressed with him at all. And for Alton Meeks, he's 3-0. He's very confident. He's talking title shots in 2020, and he's training all over Orlando with notable names, guys such as Rashad Evans and Mike Perry. And Meeks is going to be a much better athlete here. He's a former football player at Iowa State, and he's more of a wrestler. He will throw some bombs, leg kicks, but then he'll shoot get it to the mat. He has a solid single leg. He's a very good takedown shot for someone his size. And the fighters he's fought haven't really shown much off their back. He's been able to posture up, finish them fairly easily. He isn't bad at floating and improving position as opponents try to stand up, and he will take them out, take the back. I haven't seen him, take many big shots in the feet to prove he can take one, and he's been able to get all of his opponents out of there fairly easily. He's never been out of the first round. He's finished all 3 opponents with ground and pound, and I don't think that's going to change here. I'm going to pick Meeks here. He's the better athlete. He should be able to get this fight to the ground. I feel that De Castro has a small chance very early to catch Meeks and knock him out, but after the fight plays out a bit, he's forced to grapple. Even if he can defend the takedown, I think he's going to get tired. And I think that when Meeks eventually does get him to the ground, he's going to be able to finish him. So going with Alton Meeks here via first round knockout in this fight. And I'm next here with Bill Algeo and Brendan Lowney. And this is the fight where I will say I feel like both these guys could fight in the UFC. Brendan's already been in the UFC before, and I really like what I see from Bill Algeo. And fight with much more experienced fighters than the last fight. Both fighters have 15 plus MMA fights. Both fighters have fought UFC level competition. And Algeo, he's a dynamic outside striker. He has a wide stance. He holds his hands low, but he has good lateral movement. He can snipe opponents from the outside. His last 2 fights, he's connected on some nasty head kicks that started the end of his opponent's night. He has a snappy jab, nice leg kicks, very good check left hook. He'll throw a jab left hook. His 1-2 isn't bad. He'll attack the body with hooks with straight punches as well. And he's good at keeping his punches long and can close a lot of distance with those punches. His straight punches are fast. He has great hand speed. He's also a great kicker. Nasty front and around kicks to the body, to the head. He'll throw question mark kicks, jumping roundhouse kicks. He's very accurate. When he's going forward, that's when he's very dangerous. He's very good with step-in knees, elbows. He finishes last fight with a question mark kick to a step-in knee to a spinning back fist combination. And where opponents have success against him is in boxing range. It isn't that he's a bad boxer, but he holds his hands low, and opponents who can get inside can land punches on him. He's never been finished by strikes. He has a good chin, and he's a solid grappler also. He has good body locks. He has a very good top game. He has solid head and arm throws. Strong ground and pound. He likes to take the back. His takedown defense is good along with his get-ups, and he's hard to take down, especially against the cage. He makes opponents pay with knees and elbows. And he was able to knock out a respected wrestler in Scott Heckman. He neutralized his wrestling. He landed a nasty jumping roundhouse kick to the head that ended Heckman's night. And I definitely think Algeo can beat fighters in the UFC right now. He has a very fan-friendly style, and his most recent losses are to notable names, guys like Jared Gordon, Shane Burgos. Algeo has been submitted twice in his career. He has good cardio and the experience to most likely be ready for the moment. He's coming off of back-to-back highlight reel knockouts, and he has to be extremely confident right now. But for Brendan Loughnane, he's a fighter who's already fought one time in the UFC. It was only one fight. He didn't fight again after the loss, and it was just the 5th fight of his career, and I'm sure at 16-3 now, he feels much more prepared. Loughnane is also pretty well-rounded, but he's mainly a range striker also. He has good inside-outside leg kicks, a pretty nice jab, good 1-2. He's good at slipping shots, returning with strong, sharp counters. He'll throw a nice counter right hook. He has nice counter straight punches. He'll throw nice uppercut, step in knees, and he doesn't throw a lot of extended combinations. Prefers to just land 1 or 2 shots, then angle away. He will throw some decent body and head kicks, and he doesn't throw many flashy techniques like Algeo. He isn't as fast or athletic, but he's maybe a little more technical. Loughnane is actually pretty well-rounded. He's not a bad wrestler. Good timing on double legs, nice body locks. He'll shoot doubles and singles when he can back an opponent against the cage. He isn't super dangerous in top position, but he does like to take the back. His top control isn't the greatest. I don't think he's going to be able to control a guy like Bill on the mat. His takedown defense and get-ups are pretty solid. He was grinded out recently by Pat Healy, but he was able to defend a lot of Healy's takedowns. He got some himself. He was getting tagged with shots by Healy, who isn't a good striker, and he was gassed during periods of that fight. I think Algeo should get the knockout win here. This is a fight with 2 similar guys, but I think Algeo is more athletic. He has better stand-up, and he's going to have to worry about dominant wrestlers, boxers who can get inside. This is a better matchup for him. 2, sharp striking, probably find a finish over 3 rounds. Loughnane is no scrub, but he's a range striker, and he might have some moments, but I think Algeo is the better fighter at that. And I think Bill Algeo is going to get a finish, whether it be in the 1st, 2nd, or 3rd round. I'm going to go with Bill Algeo via KO TKO. And next we have Callie Robbins against Hannah Goldie. And Hannah Goldie, she comes in this match undefeated. She's 4-0. This is the step up in competition for her and the best opponent she's ever faced, probably. She does hold a victory over Jillian Robertson, but both fighters are making their MMA debuts, and it's not the Jillian of today. For Robbins, on the other hand, she has already faced some solid competition. She also has what, in my opinion, is an advantage, which is fighting in bigger shows such as Invicta. She, this is going to be the first time Hannah Goldie is fighting in a, really big pressure situation. Even though, this isn't like they're going to be in a big stadium. It's going to be a small crowd, but it's going to be a, poignant crowd. So it's an interesting thing. It's maybe not even as much of an advantage as I'm thinking now, but, Robbins has lost twice, but they are both the UFC caliber fighters, Hannah Cyphers and Pearl Gonzalez. And Robbins, she's more of a grappler. She's a jiu-jitsu player. Her striking is not the greatest. I would say she has faster feet than Goldie, can use defensive movements as well as close the distance faster, but she's a plotter. She keeps her head right on center line. She'll throw 1-2s, overhand rights, but she doesn't have much of anything else on the feet. She seems afraid to exchange. Doesn't look like she throws with much power either, and her defense is just not good. She ducks her head a lot. She doesn't move her head off center line, and opponents who can deny the takedown attempts can easily pick her apart on the feet. She'll try to grab double underhooks and or overhooks and just get attached to an opponent any way she can. Pull guard, shoot double legs, get clinch takedowns, but they're super slow and telegraphed. She doesn't have bad body locks against the cage and is good in top position. She'll go to work quickly. She has a great mount, good back take, good ground and pound, and she's opportunistic with her submissions. She actually doesn't mind being on her back. She's comfortable there. She has good sweeps, triangles, arm bars. She had a very good fight with Sharon Jacobson where she was rocked, tip-tossed, and then immediately locked into armbar and finished the fight. She will pull guard, like I said, but she's not very good in my opinion. She maybe is opportunistic with her jiu-jitsu, but that's about it. I think she needs to somehow get this fight to the ground and see if she can, pull something off here. She's outmatched on the feet, and this is a hard matchup for her, in my opinion. For Hannah Goldie, she's big, she's strong, she has almost a bodybuilder type physique, she's super ripped. When you watch her fight, she's kind of Robocop-ish, she's stiff, but her most recent fight, she improved her fluidity a lot. She's definitely a striker. She's going to want to keep this fight on the feet. She still doesn't have the best footwork. She's plodding, but when she gets inside, she has good hand speed. She'll let go with straight punch combinations. She mixes in hooks and uppercuts. If you just stand in the pocket and trade with her, she has power. She has a good chin. She has nice leg kicks. Her inside leg kicks are really nice. She'll throw kicks to the body and the head. She likes side kicks to the body. She isn't quite as fluid with her kicks, and overall her striking is pretty basic. In her last fight, she was getting tagged with hard shots, and she doesn't really move her head. She also holds her hands low. She pulls back with her chin high. And she isn't going to be able to get away with her style against higher level opponents. She definitely needs to improve, but what she does have is tremendous heart and cardio. She breaks fighters with constant pressure with combinations. She's strong in the clinch. She has nasty knees to the body, strong body locks, but she doesn't have great top control. I feel that she should really work more on takedowns on top position because she's very heavy and strong, and she could develop great ground and pound in my opinion. She does have good takedown defense. She's, she doesn't give up many takedowns. She doesn't go for many takedowns either, but she will snap opponents down with front headlocks. She has a very heavy sprawl, and I haven't seen much of her off her back, but Hannah Goldie kind of reminds me of Hannah Cyphers with less boxing technique. Even though I'm not too impressed with either fighter, I think Hannah Goldie's going to roll here. She's the better athlete. She's much physically stronger than Robbins, and I feel that Goldie will be able to see Robbins' takedown attempts coming, negate the entries with their strength, and I think on the feet, while they're both pretty low level, Goldie is more powerful and fast with her hands, and I believe I believe she believed in her striking more. She will throw shots in the pocket where I don't know Robbins will be willing to. I think Goldie's going to walk down Robbins, deny the grappling, put hands on her. I think even if Robbins pulls guard, it may not be, somewhere where she wants to be with that ground and pound of Goldie. But if that happens, Goldie has to be very careful not to get submitted. I don't think Robbins can take her down, and I see that eventually Goldie's going to break her with her forward pressure, with her volume. And I'm going to say she gets a TKO in round 2. She doesn't finish the fight. I see her winning the decision here. And I think she's going to get stronger as the fight goes on while Callie Robbins gets weaker. So going with Hannah Goldie here to get it done. And up next here we have Leon Shabazian taking on Brock Weaver. And Leon Shabazian, he's looking to follow in his brother's footsteps with the win on the Contender Series here. We saw Edmund Shabazian use that Contender Series to jumpstart his career. He's now 2-0 in the UFC. And both these brothers are very young, but they've been training MMA at the same gym since they were kids, which has to help. Shabazian, he's fought very low-level competition, and this is the toughest opponent by far. It's hard for me to gauge Leon at all because I couldn't find any of his pro fights. Leon, he isn't quite the athlete of his brother. He's more long and lanky. He seems to have decent straight punches, uppercuts, but he's mainly a jiu-jitsu guy. He has good chokes, triangles, arm bars. He isn't a great wrestler, but he's good off his back, and I imagine he has to have improved a lot since 4 years ago. He didn't do well with forward pressure. He was very hittable. He kept his chin high. He looked very vulnerable exchanging. And he has been TKO'd once as a pro. He's 7-1 with 7 finishes. He has 1 knockout, 6 submissions, and he has a very good guillotine. For Brock Weaver, he's a pressure striker with decent takedowns. And he's a wild man. He just recently fought in Bare Knuckle FC. He fought against Joe Riggs. He lost a decision, but it wasn't a brutal fight. He didn't get cut. After the Riggs fight, he told Riggs he's a 55er moving back down, but he's taking a fight here at 170 again, so I don't know if he's just taking this to get his door into the UFC, but Weaver has a good jab, good 1-2. He has pretty solid hand speed. He throws tight punches, uses sound defensive movement. He angles well, but he can pull back with his chin high, and he can be low volume. He can just stand in front of opponents, wait to counter, throw a lot of oblique kicks to the knees as rangefinders, but doesn't let anything go. He'll throw the round kick to the body or the head, but rarely. He is hittable, but he has a good chin. He'll stand in there. He likes to talk shit in fights after he's hit, and he has been TKO'd, but only once. He doesn't have one-punch knockout power, and he isn't a huge finisher. He only has 2 TKOs. And Weaver isn't a bad grappler. He has solid body locks, good double legs, and he's active on top. I don't think that he's great, but he's very aggressive. He has a good back take, even though he can be sloppy with it. He was able to get an arm triangle win from Mount in his last fight. His takedown defense isn't bad. I haven't seen much of him off his back. He does have good cardio. He won't back down or be broken. And it's very hard to pick a fight like this because I haven't seen any new footage on Leon. I feel that Leon isn't the athlete his brother is, and I'm not sure he's ready for the step up from what I saw. I will say that Weaver wins via TKO, but in reality, it's very hard to say. Leon maybe is way better now, and if I had the footage, I maybe would change my pick, but I'm going to go with Brock Weaver via second round TKO in this fight. And up next here, we have Soriano taking on Jamie Pickett. And, Jamie Pickett, he's making his second appearance from the Dana White Contender Series. He lost his first opportunity last year to Charles Byrd. And he's going to be looking to have a different result this go around. And he's going to be taking on a Hawaiian fighter out of Extreme Couture and Punahele Soriano. And Soriano is an undefeated prospect and a nasty striker, man. He has big power. He's very accurate. Nasty straight right hand, heavy 1-2. He'll throw a straight right hand left hook combo. He's good at pull countering in the pocket. And he's very athletic for someone his size. He's also a state wrestling champion, a solid grappler. He has good body lock takedowns, nasty ground and pound. He'll use his punches to close the distance into double legs, and he'll land big hammer fist punches and elbows from top position. He likes to take the back. He has 2 rear naked chokes, and he's finished all of his fights in round 1. 3 KO TKOs, 2 rear naked chokes. I really like this guy, and I think he has a lot of potential. He still hasn't really been tested. He hasn't shown cardio, but he's a Hawaiian. They're all usually tough as nails. Jamie Pickett, he's finished 2 fights in round 1 since his loss on the Contender Series, and Pickett is a powerful fighter. On the feet, I think he's a bit outgunned here. I think he's definitely going to try to wrestle. He likes to throw a lot of kicks from the outside. He has a nice 1-2. He has a good left hook. He will throw, some punches, but his hand speed isn't great. I think he's going to be countered if he tries to box here. He has a powerful uppercut, and he's very heavy on his lead leg. He gets his lead leg chewed up a lot. I see him trying to use cage control, body locks, control him against the cage, work for takedowns from there. I think he's going to look to take the back, and he has a good single leg. He likes to get half body from half guard. He has a brown belt in jiu-jitsu. He probably is going to have the advantage if he can take top position. He's good from his guard. He has solid ground and pound. He's heavy from top position, and he can get aggressive going for takedowns, and he can get reversed. And he really has no great wins. He does, I guess, have more experience, much more time in the cage. But I still think Punahele is going to knock him out quickly, man. I'm going to say first round knockout. I just think his striking and defense leaves a lot to be desired in terms of Pickett. I think his takedowns aren't that great. I don't see him getting takedowns, and I think his stiffness on the feet is going to give Punahele a good night. And I think he's going to get a first round knockout here and flashing potential, man, because I think this guy, he's at a good gym for his skill set. Obviously we've seen a guy like Ray Sefo, where kickboxing world champion, Hawaiian type guy, Samoan, and he kind of reminds me not of Ray Sefo, but his striking is very good. He has extremely athletic in terms of striking. He has Ray Sefo training him, and he's a state champion wrestler, man. So I think this guy, out of everyone on the show, probably has the most potential to potentially be, a top 10, top 15, maybe even a champion. For all we know, he's only 26 years old. So hopefully he can go in there and have a good opportunity, have a good performance, get the win there. And my most confident pick of the night here is going to be Alton Meeks. But, for the party of the week, it's kind of hard to give you guys a parlay right now because there's no lines. But, I'm just going to say to do a parlay with Alton Meeks, Hannah Goldie, and Punahele Soriano because, regardless if the lines are a little wide, that is 3 fighters. So it should be at least a decent, money line parlay. And I'm pretty confident all those guys are going to get the victory. So the parlay of the week is going to be Alton Meeks, Hannah Goldie, and Punahele Soriano. So, yep, hope you guys enjoyed the video. Hope you guys are getting ready for the Dana White Contender Series because we cleaned up on the Dana White Contender Series last year. I really like these events. Really kind of a cool idea in my opinion. And hopefully we can have another great year with the Dana White Contender Series this year. So make sure to comment, like, subscribe. Tell me who you're picking, why you're picking them, and if you have any differences in your picks from mine. If anyone has any new tape of Leon Shabazian, send it my way because I kind of want to see it. And if I can get some new footage, new tape on Leon Shabazian, maybe I'll come in here and I'll mend my pick. I'll tell you guys what I think about his new tape. But yeah, so if anyone has some new footage, shoot me an email, hit me up on Twitter, tell me on the comments below how to contact you if that's how you want to do it. But yeah, thanks for watching. Make sure to comment, like, and subscribe, and hopefully we can cash these bets as well.